Okie dokie. Shall we, gentlemen? I did not just do key bumps in the bathroom.
Spencer is going to be the one holding... Yeah, he's going to be holding all the autism today. Because I'm not tired. I'm just chill. I don't know.
Dude, I'm wearing my work clothes from yesterday. I haven't brushed my teeth in 24 hours. I'm taking a shower. I don't know what day it is anymore. I am just ready to roll.
That was me yesterday.
That's you every day.
No. That's... Okay.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Spencer, joined by Mocking Man Collin.
Hi.
And Silence McGee Jacob. Thank you for your inputs. That's nice. Last week, it turns out we had some tech issues with our new setup, and my microphone wasn't working as intended, so we will hopefully have rectified that. Although, admittedly, Jacob edited it pretty well, so...
No.
Coming in clutch.
He's good at doing that. To be fair, my voice reverberates enough that your two mics were picking up on it, so...
Yeah, because you're loud as fuck.
Right?
So it came out solid, but hopefully that's been rectified. I don't know why, because we didn't change anything. But
rectified.
Erect.
I am the reason why everybody says, we'll fix it in post.
Speaking of fixing it in post, jumping right into the news.
Yeah.
From The Hollywood Reporter.
Beans.
So you gave it to me.
Beans.
Warner Bros. Animation and Cartoon Network production workers launch unionization effort. 66 staffers at Warner Bros. Animation and 22 at Cartoon Network filed a petition for a union election with the National Labor Relations Board on Wednesday and simultaneously requested voluntary recognition from management at the Warner Bros. Discovery subsidiaries.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Fuck them. Fuck them right in the ass.
You didn't... man, I was restraining myself. I didn't even put, the SAG strike on here. I really considered... Because that's actually, really fucking big. SAG hasn't struck in, forever. That's pretty much all of Hollywood is fucked right now.
Something Actors Guild,
Screen
right?
Actors Guild.
Isn't Deadpool just... Did we talk about that yesterday? Last week, I mean?
It was moved up, and then because of the Actors Guild, it was postponed.
Yeah, it has halted production because they
I
I
was asking if we talked about that last week or if that's in this news.
I don't remember, honestly. There's been a lot of other stuff. I just got kind of distracted.
Yeah, right. Last week we reported that it was moved up, but we have not talked about it.
Yeah, because it was moved up, but then the writers went on strike, so they kept shooting, but they weren't allowed to do improv. Right. That's how that works.
They weren't allowed to do improv?
Ryan Reynolds is part of the Screenwriters Guild. He has a writing credit on the movie. But that means him doing improv is making an addendum to the script. So they kept shooting, which I thought was a horrible idea, doing that then. But then when the actors went on strike, him and Hugh Jackman basically just walked off on set right to a picket line. Which admittedly also the actors for Oppenheimer went directly from the premiere to the picket line with Chris Nolan, so that's cool.
Nice.
Literally, they didn't even watch the movie. They just left to go hold signs.
Good. I mean, I saw some videos kind of documenting what's going on right now from people that actually YouTubers that actually professionally document things.
Go to Adam Conover.
That's what I'm talking about. Adam Conover, because he even was on TikTok, because that's the easiest way to get fast information to our generation.
True.
So he was just doing that, and he was talking about how he was like, we need to go over here because if there's this amount of people at the Marvel Studios, whatever the shoot that's going on over here, they'll stop it or whatever.
Yeah, he's been, despite the fact that he is not actually directly involved in any of the projects, because he's such a well experienced writer and frankly he knows shit. He's kind of the internet symbol head right now.
Yeah,
because he's the only one consistently putting out stuff. He actually knows what he's talking about, which is cool, and he makes very good bite-sized content, which is nice.
Right.
Moving on from Da Beans.
We have a couple of articles from comicbook.com, starting with the trailer for the 4th season of Harley Quinn on HBO 1 week before its release. So it's coming out on the 27th.
I have no idea how they banged this thing out so fast, because season 3 dropped late last year. It was renewed shortly after. I have no clue how they pulled this around.
Come on, stop doing that.
Yeah.
You're touching it.
I know, I didn't mean to touch
Don't
it.
touch it. Train.
Fuck.
I will fuck the train.
I don't know why there's a word that says we right here. Alright, whatever. Fuck it.
We, comrade.
Trailer? Meh.
Harley Quinn.
I don't know.
Harley Quinn go.
Cool. Moving on. Zorro, Sean Gordon Murphy reveals new comic series. The idea of this book is Don
Quixote
meets Narcos, told in a contemporary setting. Murphy says of Zorro, Man of the Dead, Diego is a young man who's convinced that he's Zorro. As a child, he had a psychotic break after witnessing the murder of his parents by the drug cartel in his village. To cope with the trauma, he embraces the 200-year-old legend of Zorro by putting on the mask, training with the sword, and waging a war against the narcos to free his people. Okay, this is kind of weird, because I've been following Sean Murphy's the whole Zorro thing going on, and I haven't been reading anything, like what's going on with it, captions and whatever, because I wanted to, one, I wanted to be surprised, and two, I assumed it was literally just Zorro. This is weird. I did not expect this.
I think that was what the announcement was. Other than it's starting on Kickstarter, and then it's, I believe, Massive is doing the publishing for the physical copies. I don't think those were details that were privy. It's just he's been sharing the art, and he's like, I'm doing a Zorro book, and I think that was the announcement of like, the story is not what you think it is.
Right.
It's interesting.
I don't know if I want that.
I'm gonna read it anyways.
I'm obviously gonna read it anyways.
We actually got to talk to him a few weeks ago over the Jetpack Booze cruise, and he was bringing this up because he clearly this is like his current project that he's been working on for a while, and it felt like he was getting geared up to spread some more details.
All right.
So I didn't squeeze him for all the details, but it looks fantastic. He's been teasing this thing for months.
I hope it's good. Because I was expecting just a Zorro book, like a regular-ass Zorro book with Sean Murphy art, which would have been fine.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting. That's kind of what I wanted. But this seems interesting. Not to bash Sean, but I'm a little skeptical about the writing.
It's certainly an interesting direction. We'll see how it turns out.
Right.
Marvel announces Thunderbolts series with new team lineup. Collin, Kelly, and Jackson Lansing are writing the new Thunderbolt series with artwork by Geraldo Borges. Bucky Barnes, in his new role as The Revolution, puts together a team to help him act on a century's worth of secrets left behind by the fall of the Outer Circle that only he has knowledge of and bring down some of the Marvel Universe's biggest threats and worst actors. Among Bucky's chosen teammates are Black Widow, Sharon Carter, a.k.a. Destroyer, White Widow, Red Guardian, U.S. Agent, and Shang-Chi. Okay. I don't like this. This is MCU synergy, and I don't like it. This is, like, basically the lineup we're getting in the movie, and they all shoot and punch people. Except Shang-Chi. That's dumb. I like the team, but, like, the people behind it, I'm currently reading the Guardians run, written by Collin, Kelly, and Jackson Lansing, and it's fine. It's not entirely up my alley, but this just doesn't smell good to me.
It smells like boobs.
There are boobs, yes. My sniffer is telling me that it's going to be bland, and for the sake of having a Thunderbolts book nearby when the movie comes out.
Colin, you're looking at Shang-Chi's boobs?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Also, Bucky's.
I like Bucky being in the leader of the team. I think that's a good choice, but
I do not care.
Me se like my boy Bucky.
I do not care about this at all.
He's literally me.
I care about what's going to be talked about next.
Hot.
Universal Monsters Comics announced by Skybound Entertainment. Fresh off the reveal that Skybound has secured the license to publish new Transformers and G.I. Joe comics, Robert Kirkman's imprint has nabbed another major license with the Universal Monsters. Skybound Entertainment has partnered with Universal Products and Experiences for multiple limited series comics based on the stable of classic Universal Monsters characters. The first series that will be published arrives on Wednesday, October 25th, with Universal Monsters: Dracula. Eisner-winning James Tynion IV will pen the series with his Departed of Truth collaborator Martin Simmons providing art. After the 4-issue series wraps up, even more comics based on the fan favorite horror characters will follow.
This looks very promising, and I'm actually excited for this.
This is super cool. That's why
Because
I
also
nabbed
the
it.
art looks so good.
That team is phenomenal. Department of Truth is probably going to stay in my favorite books of all time until I die.
I still have the first one. I need to get into it.
Dude, you got to take the plunge.
I know, but I also have some more books that I have.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's nice having, well, yeah, like it's a licensed brand thing. It's something different. It's
I
not
like vampire guys.
It's not superheroes. This is good.
I like traditional vampire.
Yes. Trump.
A tweet by Ram V. Quote, very thrilled to say I've signed an exclusive contract at DC Official and am very excited to tell more stories with these characters and this universe. Many cool things to come at the DC Nation, end quote.
I included this because Ram V is one of my favorite writers working right now.
So, not a lot of names. Names don't always click in my brain. Remind me who Ram V is again.
He wrote the really good Swamp Thing run recently.
He's been doing Carnage is his big book right now from Marvel. He was doing another one with that as well.
He did the spooky book I talked about a couple of weeks ago, where it was a sad saxophonist. It was the one I paired with I live in the spooky house so I can get banged by a ghost. It was that week.
Yeah.
I still need to read that one.
He just seems like a really cool guy. So it's interesting that he's getting an exclusivity deal, which this obviously implies that his Marvel books will be wrapping up sometime soon. From MSN.com. Superman Legacy, an updated cast list for James Gunn's DC Universe movie. David Corenswet will be playing the new Superman. Rachel Brosnahan will be playing Lois Lane. Nathan Fillion will be playing Guy Gardner. Isabel Merced will be playing Hawkgirl. Eddie Gathetti will be playing Mr. Terrific. And finally, Anthony Kerrigan is set to play Metamorpho. In addition to all the characters mentioned above, James Gunn has confirmed that Superman Legacy will feature Jimmy Olsen, and Lex Luthor will also reportedly show up. It's really weird because they're David and Rachel were like the internet's fan castings, and I don't usually like that, but they're onto something here. Let him cook.
I'm so excited for this because it's just so many characters, and we have been, with a couple of shows and movies, we've been proven that like you can have multiple like superheroes in one movie and still have it as like one character's main movie, and have some like niche villains like Metamorpho.
Yeah. There's been some speculation that the Terrifics might be one of the first teams that exists in this universe, and I think that's really interesting because James Gunn was teasing that he wanted to do Mr. Terrific like right after the announcement of him getting signed on to head DC Studios. And that's just I wouldn't say niche exactly, but like very not popular character, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think I really cared for Mr. Terrific until I read Strange Adventures.
Yes.
I mean, I remember him, and he was like cool in like the Justice League cartoon growing up, but anything else I saw him in, sadly, it was the Arrow universe, and I was like, huh?
That's rough.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting that there's so many people getting cast like in this stage of development. And I was talking to Jacob about this a little while ago. I think they wanted to nail down the superhero cast members because they knew the actors were going to be going on strike, and they needed to start making costumes.
Right.
So they needed, like, because they wouldn't be able to come in for measurements and stuff. So they're like, we need to get whatever characters are going to have very unique superhero-esque costumes, we need to have done so we can work on those while the actors are on strike, so they can save time and money and all that fun stuff. As I said, I think last time when we talked about this, I hope we stop hearing more about it. Every bit of news is interesting. I'm tired. I just want it to come out. It's 2 years from now. Just let it happen.
That's what Spencer told me last night too. Just let it happen.
Oof.
I believe it.
Oh shit, it's my turn. From DC.com, heroes and monsters collide in the crossover comic book event of the year. DC and Legendary Comics are celebrating the first day of San Diego Comic-Con 2023 with a colossal announcement. DC will collide with Legendary's Monsterverse in Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong versus the World versus the Avengers versus the Defenders versus... Sorry. The cataclysmic crossover event of the year you never expected. In partnership with Toho International, the 7-issue series launching in October is from acclaimed writer Brian Bucalato, best-selling artist Christian Duce, and colorist Luis Guerrero.
Why do I kind of want to read this?
That's very strange because I don't care about this.
I don't either.
It's because it's Justice League versus Godzilla and King Kong is so stupid I want to, but the art is ass, so... Oh, no, I mean, not ass. It's mid. It's like the comic art that you expect to see. That, like, every non-comic book, fan... pulls up, oh, do you like these characters? And it's, the most mid character designs and, mid art. Yeah, it's that.
That's rough.
Now, if, James Herron drew it, I'd be down. Or Daniel Warren Johnson, but no.
Speaking of Daniel Warren Johnson, I didn't put it in the news, but he just won an Eisner last night for Do a Powerbomb.
Fuck yeah!
I agree.
Yes. Onto all the news from Marvel.com. Superior Spider-Man returns in 10th Anniversary Spectacular. This October, Otto Octavius is back as the Superior Spider-Man. Teased last week, the Spider team that redefined the Amazing Spider-Man will reunite to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the most monumental and shocking Spidey story in a generation in Superior Spider-Man Returns, #1. Superior Spidey, why do you guys keep switching these things up on me? Superior Spidey creators Dan Slott and Ryan Stegman will be joined by superstar artist Mark Bagley, Giuseppe...
Somebody?
The Cauliflower, and Humberto Ramos to deliver a Spider-Man story superior to all the others in this giant-sized one-shot.
It's so funny. You see, they did a pun. Incredible. Sorry. Amazing.
I didn't even notice. The era of Superior Spider-Man that kicked off when a dying Dr. Octavius... I'm gonna rant for a second. I fucking hate how they go from Doc Ock, Dr. Octavius, and Dr. Octopus. Just say one fucking name. I'm so sick of it. I just want to keep rolling. The era of Superior Spider-Man that kicked off when a dying Dr. Octopus swapped his mind into Peter Parker's body was a mega hit with fans in 2013. Determined to prove himself better in every single way, Doc Ock ruthlessly made his way through Spider-Man's legendary rogues gallery, shocking fellow heroes with his violent approach to crime fighting before learning harsh lessons about great responsibility. Did Doc Ock have his fill of the webhead lifestyle, or is he ready to trade in his metal arms and be the smartest, strongest superhero in the Marvel universe once more? The challenge Marvel gave me was for the 10th anniversary. How can we revisit Superior without repeating ourselves and while telling a story that impacts Spider-Man's world today? Slott explained, Superior Spider-Man Returns is going to take an untold Superior tale and drag it kicking, screaming, and violently exploding into the present. It's going to give you everything you liked about Superior, but in new, surprising ways. No time travel, no clones, and no way we're telling you how. Read the book. The first Superior Spider-Man suit was my fucking favorite Spider-Man suit ever.
It's so hot.
And it still is. That shit is so hot. It goes back to the black and red. It's got the dead beady eyes. My favorite Spider-Man suits are probably that and do you know that art piece where it's like kind of painted and it's the Hulk and the Spider-Man like kind of drenched in like black and Spider-Man's like on his shoulder.
Oh yeah,
that one.
I don't know why I know what he's talking about, but I do.
Yeah, so that art style of like Spider-Man's my favorite, one of my favorites, and I love it when Spider-Man has like the angry eyes. Like that's just how his eyes are all the time.
Yeah.
The big eyes are nice, but the angry eyes, the like, there's something just menacing about that, and I love it.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the claws on his fingers and toes?
I love them.
I think it's an interesting change.
I think I can live without them. It's still fucking cool because Spider-Man, the claws are kind of like a 2099 thing to me.
Yeah.
But they're still cool.
I think this new suit does look really good. When we talked about this a couple weeks ago, when it was just originally teased that Superior was coming back, I was pretty hesitant because of mostly Marvel editorial problems and not wanting to tread ground already. It seems to be that in the Amazing and in the regular Spider-Man comics right now, Otto is really bizarre and all over the place, and also his arms are sentient and they're friends with Peter. It's weird. I don't want to get into it.
They're friends with Peter?
It's really weird.
I kind of like that.
It looks weird.
The ideas of that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks freaky.
I'm fine with freaky.
I'm a little hesitant, but the fact that like Slott is explicitly saying Slott.
Sorry.
Is explicitly saying, we've figured out a loophole, don't worry about it, just read the damn thing.
I will.
Is a little aggressive, but I'll take it.
I'm fine.
And I really like this new suit. I like how it doesn't retread the same ground, but it also definitely looks like a superior Spider-Man suit.
What, this one?
The other one. Went up.
That's not a new suit. That's his first suit as Superior Spider-Man.
Oh, you're right. I'm dumb.
You are dumb.
Shut up.
That's why I brought it up.
Monkey. It's very cool. Speaking of Spider-Man, all new spine-tingling Spider-Man series continues the web slinger's terror. It's the scariest Spider-Man story of the year. That's not true because they killed Kamala Khan earlier. That was very terrifying, but for wrong reasons. Following September's spine-tingling Spider-Man Zero, the print version of the acclaimed Infinity comic, writer Saladin Ahmed and Juan Ferrere will reunite for an all-new spine-tingling Spider-Man series in October. The horror saga shook readers to their core when it debuted in 2021 on Marvel Unlimited, but that was just the beginning of Peter Parker's nightmare. Spidey will continue to lose sleep as he swings his way into another unforgettable mind-bending journey that grips readers' fears in this new 4-issue adventure. After a fight with Spider-Side, Spider-Man gets taken on his most frightening ride of his life as he finds himself in the most terrifying haunted house possible. Who took Peter's powers? Who took Peter's friends and family? Who stands the best chance of taking Spider-Man down permanently? We're pulling Peter through a grueling horror movie grinder, and that resilient spirit of his will be tested like never before, Ahmed promises. I tapped into some darkness writing this, but the real star here is Juan's mind-blowing visionary art, which is genuinely some of the best spider art I've ever seen. I agree. These two have been doing some Spider-Man side projects for a couple of years now, and they're all really fucking good. Like, they're all very unique, and they're tonally varied, unlike normal superhero comics for the most part. And they're just nice little bite-sized nuggets to have on the side. If the ongoing Spider-Man series are going to just keep being cursed until the end of time, at least the mini-series are taking advantage of the character.
I have a question for you.
Penis.
And I don't know if you know, which I should know this already. Are there only like the 6-issue trades for the Superior Spider-Man right now?
I don't know. I think there is an omnibus for the whole thing, which was what I was going to get. I think it's just one omnibus, but the fact that it's coming back means it's not complete anymore. I don't know.
Oh, well, that's fine with me.
I think there's the first run, the sequel run, and then the little bullshit they did at the end that was really bad.
And that's all on that one?
I think. I haven't checked they haven't printed it yet. I think it's a new listing.
Oh, it's not out yet?
I don't think
the collected edition?
I don't think so. So I think it's all trades.
Okay, so I guess I have to wait.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have the first one, maybe? I don't know. But I just want to get it. And I figured that you would know more than I would.
It's either it just came out or it's coming out soon. I know there is an omnibus in the works. I've seen the Amazon listing.
Well, I'll be going to Jetpack to ask.
The omnibus has 3 issues from Amazing Spider-Man from 99. It has Superior Spider-Man 1 through 31, and then Annual 1 and 2.
And is it out already?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
It might just be a reprinting. I don't know. I try to keep up with that stuff, but there's so much.
I'm going to Jetpack and seeing if they have it, I get it, and if they don't, I order from them because fuck you, Amazon.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying you're basically just chasing down 31 issues. So whatever the 2 trades came out to be, apparently that's all there is.
There's more than 2 trades, I think.
I think it's like 4. But
yeah, it's like 4.
It's
I just want the collection of the
That's my reaction every time I try to get into a new series, and the way they collect it makes my soul hurt.
I try
and make fun of me for it.
Don't you have Comixology?
I do.
That's how he read it originally.
Yeah.
That is how I've read it.
I
want physical. Because I've read most of it. It's just yeah. But I think I go simple and I try not to think of the reading order. But then I get moments like Spencer where I'm like, I'm going to wreck everything because of the reading order.
That is the nice.
That's why I read. I'm sorry, you go.
That is the nice thing about a well-designed omnibus is if it does contain the whole if it's like a run or something like that where it's a run that was broken up over multiple new number 1s or whatever. Mm-hmm. If it's just ordered correctly, you don't really notice. If they just have the order put in there, you don't need to know which specific issue it is because you're reading the story. But with most omnibuses, they're events and crossovers and stuff, so then it's all out of order and you have to figure out how the fuck to read it.
It was Final Crisis that did that really well?
Yes. Final Crisis is the best omnibus
I think
ever.
that's why I read one-shot stories or I read Headlopper or Hellboy and stuff like that because it's just so way easier to read than our mainstream superheroes.
Does Collin know that we have Hellboy in this article later?
Fuck.
You had to spill the beans.
I wanted to get him a little riled up. Jacob, you got something for me? You got something spoopy?
Crypt of Shadows #1 returns with more chilling tales starring your favorite Marvel heroes. This October, take another frightening journey through the shadows of the Marvel Universe in Crypt of Shadows #1. The hit one-shot is back for another year of tales starring some of the spookiest characters comics have to offer. The crypt will be reopened, and the creatures, monsters, and ghouls of the Marvel Universe will emerge in this collection of terrifying and easily accessible stories that will haunt new fans and longtime readers alike this Halloween season. Once more, as All Hallows Eve draws nigh, the dust-covered slab that seals shut the crypt, blocking out the sun and casting it forever in shadow, has creaked open to let the darkness loose, blah 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 blah. Victor Strange, younger brother of Doctor Strange, goes deeper than ever into the crypt as he once again plays host to the frightful festivities in a framing story by writer Al Ewing and artist Paul Davidson. Writer Kavan Scott and artist Devmalia Pramanik present a devilishly delightful Deadpool story that features the classic horror character The Living Mummy and sets him up for an exciting new status quo. Current Scarlet Witch scribe Steve Orlando and artist Paul Azaceta weave a Scarlet Witch story where she faces a terrifying new villain called the Bricklayer. Writer Sarah Gailey and artist Eder Messias explore man versus monster in a tale starring Werewolf by Night and the Hulk. The swamp creature who burns all who know fear battles alongside the man without fear. See Daredevil and Man-Thing team up for a spine-tingling adventure from writer Declan Shalvey and artist Alex Linz.
I'm very excited.
This is pretty cool. I have one thing to say. Fuck you guys. Why do you guys do this to me every single fucking time? Why didn't you guys give me the Hellboy thing? Why am I talking about fucking Miss Marvel?
Don't look at me. I didn't write the news.
Why am I talking about Miss Marvel, not Hellboy?
Because if you were reading the Hellboy, you wouldn't make it all the way through. You'd be like,
yes, I would.
It's just like, read the article, though.
I do read the article.
I can read the article while you come in your shorts.
Crypt of Shadows is really cool. These are the types of comics that got me into comics in the first place. Is these sorts of annual Halloween or Christmas themed little one-shot collected stuff. They're always good. The one last year was fantastic. And the teams all look really cool. It doesn't seem...
Man-Thing.
Yes.
Man-Thing.
I like the team-ups that they're presenting, and I like all the teams. I actually know these people, which is always nice. It's like a $10 book. It's just a big hunk in one shot. This is the good shit. That's what made me interested in all of this shit in the first place.
This is the gooch.
Random spooky stories from these heroes I've never heard of before. That's the cool shit. And also, spooky magic shit. That's my jam.
Hot.
Fine, I'll do it.
I'm about to read it.
Nope,
fucker.
I got it. Penis. The heart of the Marvel Universe will be reborn in Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant comic book series. Announced exclusively by Entertainment Weekly, Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant will be a 4-issue limited series co-written by Iman Vellani, the actor who plays Kamala Khan in Marvel Studios' as Ms. Marvel, and Sabir Pereza from Dark Web Ms. Marvel and Marvel Studios Ms. Marvel, and drawn by artist Carlos Gomez from Rogue and Gambit.
I meant to call all that crap. I only had like a day to put this all together.
It's fine. I don't care.
Suck my balls. Again.
Artist Carlos Gomez from Rogue and Gambit and Adam Gorham from Star Wars Darth Vader. Covers will be drawn by Marvel legend Sarah Pacelli, mommy, known for her stunning and acclaimed work on titles such as Ultimate Spider-Man. This was way scarier than joining the MCU for me, Vellani told EW. These projects feel like they live in their own dimension, so I guess I can separate myself easier. Actually, they exist in one dimension less than being in the MCU because they're 2D. Big brain. But you can hold a comic book. I've never written anything before in my entire life.
Guys, he's playing 4-dimensional chess right now.
But
That shit's hard. That shit's hard.
I've never written anything before in my entire life, but I've read many comics, so I just wrote what I would want to read. I was given a very professional tool to write what is essentially my own fan fiction. It was actually a very humbling experience to work with Iman because she knows her comics better than I do, and that is saying something, Peraza added. She was throwing out references to specific comics that came out before either of us were born. She has a very good eye for what makes a good sequence on the page as drawn by an artist. It was very impressive to me to see her throw out all of these references to different artists that she's been following through the years. I think this is nice. Even if it doesn't turn out super well, which I hope it does, I just think this is nice. Ms. Marvel is not doing great in comics right now. She was just murked because Spider-Man editorial. So she's getting revived as a mutant, which I have mixed feelings on, but she is maintaining her stretchy powers, thank God. Her new outfit's kind of cool, so she's gonna kind of be an X-Man for a while. It's weird, but I don't know. This is nice, and I definitely don't have a crush on the actor anyways, so, it's fine.
It all makes sense now.
What? I think it's nice. She seems to be interested. Bro, she has a Letterboxd account. Come on.
Look,
She's a nerd.
Werewolf Captain America returns in Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos #1. Courtesy of Marvel Comics AIPT. Aped?
That's...
Courtesy of Marvel Comics, AIPT can exclusively reveal the cover and solicitation for Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos #1. God fucking damn it. Written by Stephanie Phillips, the 4-issue series launches October 11th with art by Carlos Magno. This is the kind of story I was dying to tell at Marvel, blending my love of historical fiction with the incredible history of the characters in the Marvel Universe. Phillips told us, Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos may be a war story, but it also has horror, romance, and a few new characters that we introduce along the way. And just wait until you see Carlos Magno's incredible artwork on this series. Furries, and more furries. That's what I've read. Cap Wolf.
But spooky, angry Captain America werewolf guy.
I already don't give a fuck about Captain America.
You're cringe. Dude,
I'm not cringe.
Dude, the Cap stories when he turns into a werewolf are so bizarre, but they're all really good, and they're very silly.
Did you say the stories where... So
Yeah.
there's plural?
Yeah.
There's more than one where he turns into a werewolf?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's silly and fun.
When? How many?
At least 2 or 3 I can think of.
What the fuck? Why him? Why just him?
I don't remember. But this started back in like the 70s. It was very just... I don't know. He becomes a werewolf.
What
Deal
the
with
fuck?
it. I love comics.
I love comics. They're so fucking dumb, man.
So you're telling me we had furries back in the 70s?
We've had
Stan Lee
furries.
was probably a furry.
Definitely.
Jack Kirby was probably a furry.
Jack Kirby was one of those guys that liked aliens too much.
Yes.
That's what he was.
That's true.
Tentacles.
True.
Exclusive from the HollywoodReporter.com. Mike Mignola launching giant robot Hellboy. Mignola has reunited with artist Duncan Fegredo for Giant Robot Hellboy, a 3-issue miniseries that promises to be exactly what the title lays out, a Hellboy. That is one giant mecha. Giant Robot Hellboy is my very obvious nod to all those Japanese giant monster movies, which I actually have no particular love for, Mignola said in a statement. What I do love is listening to Jeff Darrow and Art Adams talk about those movies, so really, I guess this series was inspired by those guys. Mignola has been considering the concept for quite a while. I had the idea for this one a long time ago, but figured it was too silly to actually do, continued Mignola. Then the pandemic came along and I started to do all those sketches I would post online. I had never given a serious thought to what a giant robot Hellboy would look like, but I knocked out a few sketches and I liked them. The thing started to seem like something that could actually be done. The thing started... What is happening?
Bro, you wrote it.
I think Collin changed it all around because he was mad at me.
No, here's the thing. I accidentally... You know how I keep accidentally clicking on things? So the Wazda...
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. I told you.
The something that could... Whatever just happened, that was not me. That was actually him.
I didn't fucking do this!
I can fucking do this! Stop! I'm trying to do something!
The first issue will drop from Dark Horse Comics in October, featuring a variant cover by Mignola and Stewart.
This is my favorite time of year because we get all the October books getting announced in the middle of summer, and it makes me feel spooky.
This is... I love Mike Mignola, because he's like, I drew this giant Hellboy, and all those, this is like a nod to all of those, Japanese mecha movies that I just don't really particularly care for. But I'm doing it because my friends love them. It's like, what the fuck? He just does not care.
He's such a goofy boy.
He is such a goofy boy. I love him.
Duncan Fagretto's art is fantastic, so that's a good pairing as well. He's one of my favorite, non-Mike Hellboy artists, obviously. I'm really impressed with how well the Hellboy universe has been expanding the past few years, because it seems like every post-end of main Hellboy run story that Mike co-signs, all the young Hellboy books we've been getting and stuff, these are all fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
and they're short and they're to the point. They don't fuck around.
I wouldn't say the young Hellboys are fantastic, but they do fit very well and they're fine.
It's a nice way to add additions to the universe instead of making it an ongoing. There just is kind of always a Hellboy miniseries that's coming.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It also just seems like a good business
I
model.
love the Hellboy in Love series. That stuff's so good.
I think the last issue of that one's coming out next month.
I think it's out.
It's out right now.
Well, that's hot.
Or I believe so.
Awooga.
I'll be going to Jetpack.
We're going to be covering more of
updates.
these in the coming season. We're going to be covering so many of these Hellboy books. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes.
But they're going to be spread out, and it's not going to be an omnibus, so we're not going to kill each other.
Well, that was the news.
The news is over. It's so Jover.
I read Batman One Bad Day Two-Face.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Written by Mariko Tamaki and illustrated by Javier Fernandez. The Two-Face guy is like, no, I'm good now. I'm good. I'm not going to do a murder. And everybody's like, okay. And then he does a murder.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Two-Face was being two-faced?
Yep.
Oh, no!
The writing was fine. The plot was very predictable. I would say my biggest complaint about it is not even with this book, but it's just been something that's been on my mind for a while, and I haven't put words to it. So, Batman has a conversation with... Where is it? Hold, please. Spencer is dying.
Spencer is dying. And I'm slowly dying as well.
I'm going out with a bang.
Okay, so this scene. Batman is talking to who he says is Batgirl, and then they change how they refer to each other through the entire conversation. They start using their real life name. He calls her Spoiler one time, and it's like Collin was complaining about earlier, just choose one name. Stop using all of your aliases.
Yep.
It's really annoying. I don't know who the spoiler is. I know Spencer's talked about her a couple of times recently. She's a recent character, and okay, fine.
She was when she was spoiler. She was our favorite Bye Boys girlfriend. Tim Drake's girlfriend.
She was introduced as Tim Drake's girlfriend, but
Yeah.
she was also adopted, so now it's incest or something.
Weird. Well,
Wait, she's adopted by Bruce now?
I think so. I think.
I don't think so.
Maybe. She's an adult. You can be thirsty, it's fine. She's an adult.
strange. I wasn't,
She is hot.
but whatever.
I do agree with that criticism, though. It is very fucking obnoxious.
Yes.
I especially don't like it when, like, the Justice League is doing a big fight and they're saying the other person's name instead of character name. Like
Me
Superman will be like, "Hey, Bruce, could you pass the salt?" during a big fight. It's like, it's his secret identity. Why?
Yeah, go Batman.
Yes.
And Batman will be like, Superman. Superman.
Right. It's so annoying.
It smells like sloppiness on that level.
It is.
You didn't reread your script.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's nothing specific to this book. It's just comics in general. It's a brainworm. The art is nice. Yeah, kind of forgettable. It's good for a read, but
That was my least favorite one of them all.
Oh,
that
good.
one and Penguin are kind of tied for incredibly mid.
3 out of 5 stars. It's $17.
Yeah.
$18.
Mariko has been the one, I believe, she was doing multiple years of Detective Comics. I think she might still be doing it. So, neat. But it kind of turned out like a little bit of a dud. That's why so much of the focus is on, what's his name? The new mayor.
I don't know. I didn't know who that
That's,
guy was.
I believe, one of her creations. So he's been very front and center for a
New
while.
mayor of what?
Gotham.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember his name, but he's
I know.
been front and center for a while.
Because I thought you were about to say Bloodhaven.
No,
Worst detective ever, though.
it's Batman. He's an idiot.
Worst detective ever? What do you mean?
He did not detect good this book.
Yeah.
No, Harvey's good now, I promise.
The balloons and the cake is spoiled.
Yeah.
Wow.
No cake?
I watched Hidari. It is
Bless you.
Thank you. It is a stop motion animation, 5-minute short film about a. It's actually just one scene, basically.
Do you want to bet that Collin talks longer than the actual runtime of the
Oh,
movie?
yeah. Every time.
Fuck you.
Every time.
It opens up to this man with a weapon rack, Japanese traditional weapon rack on his back and a cat on his back, and he only has one arm that is showing. And we hear the main bad guy go, talking about like, oh, what are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. You want to kill me?
Step-bro?
He just fights. It's just like one of those stupid scenes where it's like a John Wick thing. Good guy fights all of the goons in super cool fashion. But while he's doing that, the thing on his back, he opens it up and he uses all the weapons that are inside and he goes shing shing. And we find out that like his other arm is this giant like mecha arm kind of thing, like his right arm.
Fucking Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, dude. And he's just like bashing the shit and crushing heads, cutting people in half. Oh, and did I mention that all of them are puppets, the stop motion? And so every time they get cut open, it's sawdust.
That's great.
And yeah, it's great. And he like had to let go of an arm because I think it was like broken or something. And he whistled at his cat, and the cat pressed a button on top of the thing and shot out another like mecha arm at him that had a chainsaw on it.
What the fuck?
It was fucking awesome. And after defeating all of the little goons, the big boss was like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm this guy." And he's like, "Oh, it couldn't be. You died with this man on that day." And
I love the pronoun game.
yeah, me too. I love it. And then he's like, "No worry, I'll fucking fight you or some shit." And like this fat ass bad guy on his desk, it like turns into this giant like mecha thing. And then they freeze frame into fighting, and then it ends. It was great stop motion animation. I just wish it was longer. I wish there was more. And the whole YouTube channel is just dedicated to this 5-minute thing, and it has like shorts or behind the scenes and stuff. The action was so cool, and how they, the team or one person, I can't really remember, framed all the fight sequences and just the camera angles with how he kept changing. Like, you'd grab someone and he'd like put him on his head, and you'd follow the angle of the bad guy's head, like with the hand, instead of like seeing it from an outsider perspective. It was just a really good short, and I suggest everyone watch it. It's Hidari, Hidari on YouTube.
I will link it.
Yes.
That's nice.
It's very good.
Rating?
Oh, it's a 7 out of 7.
Wow.
There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Damn. Nothing's wrong with it.
Nothing
Perfect.
wrong with it. It's perfect, actually.
Flawless.
Yeah.
Not even that it's too short. It's just the perfect 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just designed to be a cool little fight sequence, and it's not like in any other stop motion animation. They usually try to make it like the body stuff are realistic, or like in correlation with like the stuff that they're using. So like they'll actually show blood or like whatever. It's just like, no, they're just fucking puppets, dude. They're fighting sawdust going everywhere. It's fun. It's awesome.
Nice.
You are the pothead friend without pot.
I tell people that recently. They're like, I don't see it. I don't know what it is. I see it. I am the pothead without the pot.
Mm-hmm. Spencer, what'd you do?
So speaking of blood flying everywhere, or lack thereof,
Spencer hit his period.
I was thinking the same thing.
I read DC vs. Vampires All Out War Part 1. It is a collected edition that includes DC vs. Vampire Hunters, as well as a few, like 3 or 4 of the 6-ish issues of like just the All Out War miniseries. So this takes place between DC vs. Vampires 1 and DC vs. Vampires 2. Brief summary, vampire shit happens. Nightwing is like the king of the vampires. The first book I thought was really good, if a little underdeveloped. The second one fell really flat. And so does this, which sucks. So the first issue is a Hunter's one-shot. It's about Damian Wayne and his relationship with Nightwing, which I thought was nice. It's about like why Nightwing hasn't just murdered Damian, because Damian is being all sneaky, and he is a vampire, but he's killing other vampires. He's like getting bounties on the humans, and he's like rescuing people. Like the book opens up with like him saving Martian Manhunter and like faking his death, which is really cool. It's one of the parts of part 2 that I appreciated the most. Was Damian's relationship to the situation is really cool, because it really puts, in a very similar way to the DCeased universe, it puts Damian in a very unique spot emotionally speaking, whereas he actually has to be an adult. And in this story, it really demonstrates that like Damian actually has a very big heart, despite how aggressive and annoying he is. So it's
That's
just
probably due to the fact that he has a big heart.
Yes. So it's about him and Nightwing and Alfred and Damian tries to kill Dick, and Dick is like, nah, you're cringe and you suck. I saw this coming 1,000 miles away. But if you take Alfred and leave, I'll let you live if you just don't come back. So they do that. The main story in this book is the first half of a chunk of between this big war between humans and vampires. There's a big time skip between the two main books. And that's where most of this takes place. So it's a bunch of mostly villains being all, oh no, we need to save the humans from the vampires. So it's like Deathstroke, Azrael, Deathstroke's kids, Constantine, stuff like that. There's like a council of mostly bad guys who are in charge of like the resistance, basically. They're trying to resurrect Batman with a Lazarus pit, except they accidentally resurrect Azrael, who is temporarily turned, and it turns out that that's the cure for vampirism, but Lazarus pits are only a one-and-done deal. It dries up once you use it. So it's plot. It's really plot heavy, and that's the lame part about this. Is the art I do like a lot. It feels reminiscent of the like main DC versus Vampires books, which I think have really good art, but they're in black, white, and red, and I don't think they were designed to be. I think they just did it in like last minute and said, fuck it. We don't have either time or effort to color. I really feel like the character designs were not designed to be looked at this way. They blend together. They're a little overly detailed. They look really good in motion, but with the lack of color or even gradients quite often, it's kind of hard to watch or read through, which makes the fact that it's mostly action really hard to follow. There's some interesting plot developments I thought were neat. Talia is being a bitch, as usual.
Not a surprise at all.
No. It ends in the middle of the story, so I have to wait for the next fucking book to come out before I can be done with this universe, which is lame because it started off really solid, and I think it's a cool idea, but this has continued to prove to be like the least thought out new DC plotline they ever tried. And I like Tynan and I like Rosenberg, but this is Deceased is still putting this thing to shame, and Deceased is finally over now. Like, and that's 10 times better, and that's just kind of a shame. It's not great. I gave it like a 2 out of 5. Pretty rough. It was nearly on the level of quality as DC vs. Vampires Part 2, which was a horrible plot conclusion, which went nowhere. L
plus ratio plus mid.
No, it's below mid.
Plus shit.
Jacob.
Huh?
Hi.
Hi.
What you got? You got more stuff for
I got
me?
a penis.
You do have a penis, we know. We're very familiar. We're very familiar.
I'm quite proud of it.
You're familiar?
No comment.
My God.
I meant the royal we, but okay. The royal wee.
Wee. Why does it smell like wee wee and caca in here? No, for real. Why does it smell like doo doo and pee pee in here?
Why do you know what doo-doo and pee-pee smell like?
Doo doo and pee pee all the time.
Jacob, do
I
you
want
have
to go back
doo-doo?
to bed.
Good thing for you, once we're done, you can.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
You live here. Jacob, do you have caca and wee-wee?
Do you have something to talk about besides caca and wee wee?
Because we can keep going forever.
We can't keep going for a very long time.
I watched Lightyear.
Oh.
It came out in 2022. It was written and directed by Angus MacLean. And it stars people, most of which I don't really know. But the big one is that Chris Pine played Buzz Lightyear. So this is... it's really cool how it starts out because in 1995... what's his name? Andy gets a toy Buzz Lightyear. What?
It's Chris Evans.
Whatever.
The Chris's are all the same.
I know. I was just thinking about...
The Captain America guy played the Buzz Lightyear space cop guy.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah.
In 1995, Andy got a toy Buzz Lightyear and it rocked his world because the toy Buzz Lightyear is from a movie that Andy saw, and this is that movie. I was like, I like that. That's cool. But the problem is that logic falls apart because the movie, while decent, it didn't deserve all the hate that it got. Kind of is like a little mid. It doesn't make Buzz Lightyear to be like this super cool action guy that I was hoping for. He doesn't like kick ass and take names like through the whole movie. He kind of sucks at his job and has to learn through the power of friendship that he can conquer Zurg.
Who's not his dad.
Who's not his dad. Worst twist ever.
I kind of hated that.
Yeah.
Because you know what's the best Buzz Lightyear shit? The like...
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we all watched that shit. That was the good shit.
So, the animation was really good. I really enjoyed how pretty it is. It was, like, yeah.
Jacob would fuck those characters, is what he's saying.
No, just
Spencer.
the way spaceships moved on the TV was pretty.
Did you know that all the things in that movie how they were designed was the director built them with Legos first, and then they came up with the design, and then they made the Lego sets based off of his Lego builds.
Do you have the Lego sets?
No,
Why?
because I don't like them. I just thought it was cool.
I really bounced back and forth between giving this 3.5 stars or 4 stars, and I landed on 3.5 because while it looks good and the story was fine, it definitely went too long. It overstayed its welcome. It was just like the time traveling Buzz has to beat himself from the future twist was not great. So
Did you like the robot kitty?
Robot Kitty was very good boy.
Wish was real kitty, but okay.
But like a real kitty couldn't plug his USB tail into the computer and spin his head and go meow 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 meow.
This is true. That was great. I forgot about that.
I agree with you. That was the more annoying part with this movie, was like there's some really neat stuff and it's above mid, but like not by much.
Yeah.
It's like it's very imbalanced.
Right.
I actually don't mind the idea of the time travel twist, because it's like this is you if you don't learn about the power of friendship thing, which I don't like. In theory, I don't mind it, but like it just came across really
Mid.
Oh, you thought it was gonna be his dad, didn't you, motherfucker? It's like it turns it into an in joke when it's
Actually,
like, isn't this supposed to be for kids? Like the kids don't know the Toy Story in joke.
Actually, I thought it was gonna be his best friend's wife or something and be like, you killed her or whatever. So I had a cooler twist in mind.
Yeah. It was really pretty though. That was the thing. I was dude, that first trailer, the fucking Spaceman trailer. Oh my gosh.
I'm just mad because it should have been way more exciting to watch. Andy was losing his mind when he got the toy. And if that was the movie he saw, that's not how he would have reacted.
To be fair, if he watched that in 1995,
I don't think so, man.
I think
If I have a kid, I'm going to show them Lightyear first and then Toy Story. Because I don't think they're going to be psyched about Lightyear.
My headcanon is that it wasn't actually Lightyear, it was Star Command that he watched.
So, okay, so there's actually a thing about that is like a lot, like a large community on the internet is like, so this is actually the remade version of that movie, because none of the timeline shit makes any sense. Like the movie within a movie stuff, it doesn't actually make sense timeline wise with how everything works out. It's just, if you don't think about it, it works, whatever. But like there's a theory that like this is the movie, like the idea was like with looking at how the timeline worked, it was like comparing it to like Star Trek. It was like, so Andy's dad would have been around when like this came out, and then Buzz Lightyear of Star Command was the like kid friendly like remake goofy version that Andy would have watched. We're coping obviously, but like there was somebody came up with something that made a little bit more sense.
Is Star Command on Disney Plus? Because I need to rewatch it.
I don't remember.
I don't
Dude,
remember.
it's like on Paramount or something.
It's
Ew.
not in HD. I was trying to find a Blu-ray copy, and you can only get it on DVD, which is really annoying because that movie slapped, and the TV show slapped. The video game was good too on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I need to see that movie again because I don't remember it.
Oof, that shit's.
I didn't remember there was a movie. I remember the show.
Really? I watched the movie first. I had the VHS tape. It was my favorite thing in the world. My favorite possession.
I used to have one too. I don't know what happened to it.
You're very special.
62 episodes? Holy cow.
4 seasons.
Yeah. It was very low budget, but it went on for a while. It was pretty popular. Yeah, Patrick Warburton did the voice in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Colin, what else did you do?
No, it's me.
No, it's me. Then it's you. You're
Yep.
last.
Yes.
Fuck, you're right.
Dumbass.
Eat my balls.
So I watched a movie that young Spencer Bootlicker would have loved.
Oh, boy.
He probably did love.
Oh, boy.
I watched End of Watch.
Ooh. I still like that movie.
I love this movie.
It's so weird, but I do like it.
So, longtime LAPD partners and friends, Brian Taylor, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and Mike Savala, played by Michael Pena, something like that. Pena. Patrol one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Though they may bend the rules, their honor and dedication to the job are unquestioned. Taylor and Savala always have each other's backs, even if Taylor's surreptitious filming of their daily activities for a college course is a bit ill-advised. All hell breaks loose for the officers when they run fool of a vicious Mexican cartel. So, as I was beginning to watch this movie, I felt like, man, I really wish this is what, like, cops were like. This is...
Same.
I bet there are some cops that are like this, but there's no PD that is like this. None on the earth that, like, they're all actually good people. And this is the movie I wish that, like... This made me feel for cops, and then I remembered that cops don't actually act like this, and that, yeah, so no more about that, but the movie was, like, really good. I really enjoyed how the characters' chemistries were.
The chemistry is so good.
It's so good, and I just love all the little lines, like, oh yeah, officer, what's-his-face, specializes in kicking down doors. I kick down doors. Yes, I kick down doors. And then they kick it down, and it's, like, some fucked up shit that's in there, and they're just joking around the whole time. It's just, in the beginning, until they find themselves in fucked up situations, and it's the funniest shit, and... I don't know. I really felt for these guys when anything bad or like weird happened. I like was so stuck in what was going on, and just seeing them outside of like being cops as well. Like when they were together, like when they went to like a quinceañera or something like that, and Taylor brought the girl he was dating at the time, and just talking to his partner and his partner's wife. His partner's wife is hot as fuck. I was not expecting that. Whenever they have the Latin people in movies or stuff like this, they always like try to make it a thing where you see like really hot Latin Latinas, and then like once they get like older by 5 years, they're like ugly as shit. Like for some reason they always do that, and then the guys are like normal looking dudes, and I was expecting that her just to look ugly because that's just what they do in movies because the assholes. Then they show her, I'm like, oh my fuck, she's hot as shit. And seeing her at the very end of the movie made me want to cry. The ending is very sad, and I actually like was watching like, what the fuck? I yelled it out loud because I was certain on my idea of what the outcome was going to be.
Someone described this movie to me as David Ayer channeling the good parts of Michael Bay, and I kind of see that.
I do,
because that's something that Michael Bay does in his good and bad movies. Is he really likes romanticizing law enforcement? It's his favorite thing to do. Apparently. It's like, look at how cool these cops are. He does it every fucking movie, and it's like it did that, but with like at least a modicum of sensibility to it. There was a level of humanity actually present. It was just this was like a guys being dudes type of movie.
Yeah,
they
it
opened
was.
the movie
That's why
by
I
like
liked
getting
it.
into a fight with a guy that they're arresting. It's
right, just
goofy shit. But also people die.
I actually love this movie. It's definitely on like the top. Like I don't know, probably top 30 or something.
Wow.
It's definitely on the top 10 that I'll watch with friends because I know not all of my actual top 10s people will watch with me.
So is it better than Suicide Squad 2016?
Everything is better than Suicide Squad 2016.
Everything.
Pretty much. My boy David Harbour was in this movie. He was the angry cop, and I was very surprised to see that. I did not expect that. But also, I've been watching...
Everything other than The Flash is better than Suicide Squad 2016.
Yep. I watched this because I kept seeing the memes of, like, me and the boys. It was something like, me and the boys getting ready with that gat. And it was just the beginning scene of him showing, like, oh, yeah, this is my Glock 19. I got this, I got that. And I just keep getting that meme. I'm like... Yeah, that feels like me. And then I watched this movie and I'm like, he doesn't feel like me, but his partner feels like me. You know what I mean?
Sort of.
You.
You know what I mean?
You definitely had a brainworm moment.
I had a brainworm moment.
This was unexpected. I do really like that movie, though.
I do like this movie, too. I was trying to, like, go outside of the box and, like, try to find something that's not entirely, like, a samurai movie.
I think you were trying to go inside his wife's box, but
I was, and then she started talking about how freaky her husband is, and she was like, yeah, he likes this. It's just hard, because they got drunk at, like, their wedding or something, and I was like, damn, she's into all that stuff? Who's got it good?
Oh, goodness.
Speaking of freaky, what did you do, Spencer?
I read The Other History of the DC Universe, which is Very big book.
Oh, that's a chunker.
Chunky. So it's a 5-issue Black Label
He's
book.
just a fucking DC historian lately, I guess.
It's a break from Doctor Strange.
I was going to say, would you rather you talk about Doctor Strange?
That's next week. I'm working on it.
Wow, you said that.
That was next week, and I have got an anime on my side.
I do have got an anime on my side.
Not anime.
So
I do.
Shut up. So this is a 5-issue or chapter, I guess. They're more like one-shots that are all collected in one book. They are written. The formatting is what are called layouts. So it's written. It's a book basically, but the text is overlaid with.
Sorry, I had to fix my balls, and he looked away. I'm trying to tell him he's good now because I was waiting for you to look away, and I'm like, dude, they're just so stuck. I gotta do it. Sorry.
I was trying to figure out what you were doing, and I was like,
I'm sorry. I had
those away, boy.
I had to fix them. You won't even be able to see them. They're so tiny.
And they have a scar
So-
on them.
They do have a big scar on them. I'm sorry, Spence.
So the format of this book is basically layouts with text overlaid. So it's written a lot more like a book or like a series of biographical articles. And it's written by John Ridley, who is a fantastic journalist, and he's been moving into comics for the past few years. And I do really like his writing style. So each one of these focuses on a different hero or heroes who are all people of color in DC's history that have been sidelined for X, Y, and Z reason for the obvious. So it's more about revisiting DC history through each one of those characters' eyes about so, if DC history happened on a chronological timescale in the 70s when the Justice League was formed and what was the fallout of the Civil Rights Movement, all that sort of stuff happens through all these characters' eyes, and it's really cool. So it involves a few characters I'm familiar with and some that I honestly had no clue that they existed. The first one I do think is the best one. It is about Black Lightning. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I lost it. There we go. So each one takes about an hour to read. They are big.
You are a fucking masochist.
I liked it. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, shut up. So yeah, this was a very long read. And it's very well paced in that, at least for me. The way that the panel layouts are done are really good. The artist is... The one who does interiors is somebody I'm not familiar with. What's his name? Where is it? Give it to me. Whatever. The artist is someone I'm not familiar with, and it's basically emulating kind of like a timeless-esque 70s, 80s style. So when you're going through all the different time periods, through all these different characters' perspectives, it's very, I wouldn't say flexible, but it looks like an old comic all the time. But it doesn't look so old that it looks stilted. It is more modernized, but not, it's not flashy. It's very bare bones, maybe a little evocative of Dennis Cohen, a little. So it's very straightforward, blocky line work. It's very simple. There isn't a lot of shading, bright colors, and so on. I think it works really well to go through all these different periods because it contrasts the superheroics with the mundanity of life and there's being in the delivery room for a baby being born and getting engaged and protests and stuff, in contrast to the fucking Justice League being in space and all the Earths smashing into each other. It demonstrates that really well. So it has a very human perspective. The cover art on all of these is insanely good looking. It's very hyperrealism. It's super hot. My biggest criticism, other than holy shit, this was a lot, is the fact that sometimes the perspectives shift around a little bit more than I think that they should. So despite the fact that the first issue is the one that I like the most, I think it has a difficulty nailing down emotions, if that makes any sense. It's a lot of it is a synopsis of events, but from a character's perspective, but not subjectively. It's a character telling you stuff, but not... this is how I felt about it, if that makes sense. It doesn't lean into that as much. And I think part of that is because Black Lightning is a very stoic character by contrast to the other people. But I think it's very nuanced, but I think it's so nuanced that it almost loses you in it. Whereas, like, unless you're looking for that type of detail work of, like, oh, this character's story doesn't line up with this other character's story from the same time period in different issues because their perspectives are different. Unless you're looking for that, you're probably not going to notice. Which I noticed some of it because I was looking for it. I knew John Ridley would pull some shit like that. So it's like the other characters will, like, talk shit about each other. You know, they're like, yeah, he was a fucking dick. We thought that he was, you know, X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of conflict between all the characters, which I thought was really cool. I want more books like this. I just don't want them all the time. This can't be all of comics, but I think this was really, really enjoyable and very, very high effort. I could not imagine putting this thing together. It's fucking insane. I got it off of Jacob kind of for free, sort of. So
I got a sexual favor out of it.
he did. So absolute steal on that front. Time-wise, I got 5-6 hours worth of enjoyment out of this. So that's a lot for that size book. I think cover price is $30 or $40, like normal black label big size book. So the formatting's gorgeous. Me much like. What are you looking at with those damn eyeballs over there? Are you looking at our patrons over at patreon.com/dimecomicbros network?
Ew, stinky.
If you want to help financially support this show and all our crazy endeavors and assorted shenanigans, you can go ahead and shoot us some money over there. It'd be greatly appreciated. We have different tiers with different rewards, like a Patreon. There's stickers and bookmarks and sketches and art commissions, exclusive access to additional segments we do most weeks called Happy Hour, where we crack open a beer, talk about assorted stuffage, usually not as nerdy. You get early access to all of our podcasts and other endeavors. It's cool. Thanks. Please go give us money. Also, subscribe to our free Substack email newsletter. Jacob puts a lot of effort into recapping all of our episodes with a visual aid for those who are attention span deprived. Collin just made a knowing look at me. Please do support us over there. That is greatly appreciated. Follow us on social media. Check the YouTube community tab for updates. Thank you to our partners over at Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. They are our local comic book shop. Shop local. Don't give Jeff Bezos money. We don't like that here, even though all of us fuck up sometimes. Go over there to buy all your nerd shit. They have all the nerd shit. They got books. They got books. They got books. They got statues. They got stabby Batman batarang knife things. There's always some weird quirky shit up there. A lot of manga. They got an arcade machine, a pinball machine. Next week, we will be discussing Guardians of the Galaxy by Donny Cates, the 12-issue run from 2019-ish. So that'll be a hoot. We're also going to be talking about A Vicious Circle issue 2. It finally came out like 6 months later.
Giggity.
Giggity, giggity. Penis. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, we ball.
Hang on, I haven't tested mine yet. Hello, this is me talking. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
Beans, what the fuck?
Oh, that's an old one. Mm-hmm. How about now? Is that better? Better? Beans? Bingus?
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, yeah.
He blows so good.
Oh my god, he blows again.
I'm gonna stab the goblin with a fork.
I want to fucking stab your dick.
I'm down.